Sar. Sar.
La Yashala.
La Yashala. Sar. Sar. I imagine, which means to stand. You got it like that. Go ahead, put it underneath it. There you go. Wapanya Kodam, Salaki. Wapanya Kodam, which means to rise and face the east. And step one more over to your right. There you go. So, there you go. All right.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemkah.
Shemkah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malabaka.
Malabaka.
Gaba'ah.
Gaba'ah.
Ratazak.
Ratazak.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Maharatazak.
Maharatazak.
Kawah.
Kawah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Lathananawa.
Lathananawa.
Lacham.
Lacham.
Kaw.
Kaw.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalachanawa.
Wasalachanawa.
Kawawafnawa.
Kawawafnawa.
Kasalachnawa.
Kasalachnawa.
Kawawafnawa.
Kawawafnawa.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Gabayanawa.
Gabayanawa.
Panasayawan.
Panasayawan.
Abal.
Abal.
Kawashayanawa.
Kawashayanawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Ra.
Ra.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Wahatapara.
Wa'ala.
Wa'awalamna. Aman.
Aman. In English, our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in
Which
heaven.
art in heaven.
Salaki. Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be
Thy
done.
will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in
As
heaven.
it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Salakia. Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And forgive us our
And
debts.
forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our
As
debts.
we forgive our debts.
And lead us not.
And lead us not
into temptation.
Into temptation.
But deliver us
Deliver
from
us
evil.
from evil.
For thine is the
For
kingdom.
thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever. So be it.
So be it. Hakat, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua.
Baba Kushah.
Baba Kushah.
Nathananawa.
Nathananawa.
Hakah.
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 La Pa'ah.
La Pa'ah.
Kal Makalah.
Kal Makalah.
Kal Marawah.
Kal Marawah.
Hakah.
Hakah.
La Tahor.
La Tahor.
Hamatazariah.
Hamatazariah.
Hakah.
Hakah.
La Haqla.
La Haqla.
Hamah.
Hamah.
Hakah.
Hakah.
Awakawa.
Awakawa.
Atama'ala.
Atama'ala.
Agar Shan.
Agar Shan.
Hashem Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua.
The water Aman.
The water Aman in English. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All men of
All
sickness.
men of sickness.
And all men of
And
disease.
all men of disease.
The power to cleanse the
The power to
lepers.
cleanse the
The
lepers.
power to raise the
The power to
dead.
raise the
The
dead.
power against the
The
unclean
power against
spirits.
the unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of
In the name of
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. The prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayashala.
Wayashala.
Waha.
Waha.
Bayaf Sapari.
Hayat Sapar.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Hashem Yahushua.
Hashem
The
Yahushua.
water Aman.
The water Aman. What we just said was Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Al-Hahari.
Al-Hahari.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Isaiah.
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 Ma'ai.
Ma'ai.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shemaiah.
Shemaiah.
Waharatazah.
Waharatazah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Magal.
Magal.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Hana.
Hana.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shabamor.
Shabamor.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tizalka.
Tizalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamnika.
Yamnika.
Yamamah.
Yamamah.
Hashemah.
Hashemah.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakayaka.
Yakayaka.
Wayarah.
Wayarah.
Balayala.
Balayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Makalra.
Makalra.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Afnapashti.
Afnapashti.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'at.
Taza'at.
Wabawak.
Wabawak.
Ma'ita.
Ma'ita.
Ma'ai.
Ma'ai.
Awalam.
Awalam.
Aman.
Aman. In English, I will lift up mine eyes
I
into
will
the
look at
hills.
mine eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my
From
help?
whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from
My
Yahweh,
help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and
which
earth.
made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy
He
foot
will
to
not
be
suffer
moved.
thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth
He
thee
that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon
Yahweh is
thy
thy
right
shade
hand.
upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite
The
thee by
sun shall
day,
not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by
nor
night.
the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve
Yahweh
thee
shall preserve thee
from all evil.
From all evil.
He shall preserve
He
thy
shall
soul.
preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy
Yahweh
going
shall
out
preserve thy going out
and thy coming
and
in.
thy coming
From
in.
this time
From
forth
this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Al-Damayalaka.
All the Mayalaka.
Alpha-Karash.
All the Harash.
Alpha-Shakwat.
All the Shakwa.
All.
For
Yahana.
Yahana.
Awiyabika.
Awiyabika.
Yahamayawan.
Hamayawan.
Umashanai.
Umashanai.
Nashawa.
Nashawa.
Ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Aimaka.
Al-Aimaka.
Yarayam.
Yarayam.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Wayatayai Tazawa.
Where they are, Tazawah.
Altazap Pawanyaka.
Altazap Pawanyaka.
Amawa.
Amawa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Onakaki.
Onakaki.
Magoya.
Magoya.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yashara.
Sham Yashara.
Aiwa.
Aiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Lawai Tazawa.
Lawai Tazawa.
La.
La.
Yachadwa. Aliyaka.
Aliyaka.
Barya.
Barya.
Yakarafa.
Yakarafa.
Aoya. Adawam.
Adawam.
Wayashama Aoya.
Wayashama Aoya.
Mawaba.
Mawaba.
Mahagari.
Mahagari.
The ball.
Ball.
Waimawan.
Waimawan.
Waimalak.
Waimalak.
Halasha.
Halasha.
I'm Shabia.
I'm Yeshabia.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gamashawar.
Gamashawar.
Salakia. Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Iowa.
Iowa.
Zarawai.
Zarawai.
Labanilawat.
Labanilawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Lahom.
Lahom.
Kamadi.
Kamadi.
Kasayasara.
Kasayasara.
Kayabi.
Kayabi.
Manakal.
Manakal.
Oyashwan.
Oyashwan.
Neshamadu.
Nashamabu.
Bayandara.
Bayanda.
Iowa.
Iowa.
Daman.
Daman.
Adama. Sheathama.
Sheathama.
Dadiyamu.
Dadiyamu.
Nairab.
Nairab.
Wakazaba.
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 Wakazalmana.
Wakazalmana.
Calling to say a come.
Calling to say a come.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Meir Rashad.
Meir Rashad.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Ah. Nawa.
Nawa.
Alahaya.
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 Sheathama.
Sheathama.
Tagagala.
Tagagala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapandaraka.
Lapandaraka.
Kaash.
Kaash.
Tabairi Ara.
Tabairi Ara.
Wakalahaba.
Wakalahaba.
Alahat.
Alahat.
Aryam.
Aryam.
Gan.
Gan.
Daradapa.
Daradapa.
Basahara.
Basahara.
Wabasawa Paka.
Wabasawa Paka.
Kabahalon.
Kabahalon.
Malah.
Malah.
Panyahon.
Panyahon.
Kowan.
Kowan.
Oya Bakwash.
Oya Bakwash.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Oya Bahar.
Oya Bahar.
Idiyah.
Idiyah.
Oya Kapara.
Oya Kapara.
Oya Abad.
Oya so like Oya Abad.
Oya Da'ayu.
Oya Da'ayu.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Atha.
Atha.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Labaka.
Labaka.
Al.
Al.
Yawan.
Yawan.
Al.
Al.
Kal.
Kal.
Ratazah.
Ratazah.
Aman.
Aman. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O
Keep
Yahweh.
not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O
And
Yahweh.
be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo, thy enemies make a
Thy
tumult.
enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee
And they that hate
have
thee
lifted up the head.
have lifted up the
They
head.
have taken crafty counsel
They have
against thy
taken
people.
crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy
And
hidden
consulted
ones.
against thy hidden
They have
ones.
said,
They have said,
Come, and let us cut them
and
off
let us
from
cut
being
them
a
off
nation.
from being a nation.
Let the name of
That
Israel
the name of Israel
may be no more in
may be
remembrance.
no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted
For they
together
have
with one
consulted together
consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate
They are
against thee.
confederate against
The
thee.
tabernacles of
The
Edom.
tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
The Moab.
The Moab.
And the Hagarims.
And the Hagarims.
The Baal.
And
Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
of Tyre.
Asa also
is joined with them.
They have hope in the
They
children
have
of
hope
Lot.
in the children of Lot.
Salah. Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the
As
Midianites.
unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of
At the brook of
Kazan.
Kazan.
Which perished at
Which
Endor.
perished at Endor.
They became as dung for
They
the earth.
became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like a red.
And like Zed.
And like Zed.
Yea. All their princes. As Abad.
And
as Amunah.
Who
said. Let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of Yahweh in possession.
The houses of Yahweh in possession.
O my power.
O my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the
As
wood.
the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on
And as the
fire.
flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempests.
So persecute them with thy tempests.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy
That they
name.
may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled forever.
And troubled forever.
Yea. Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
Salakia. And perish. That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou. Whose name alone.
Is
Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Art the most high.
Art the most high.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it. The prayer, the blessings of the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Meyaka'ala.
Wa Moyaka'ala.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazabia.
Matazabia.
Alawap Yahan.
Alawap Yahan.
Halawap Yahan.
Alawap Yahan.
Hastaranya.
Hasaranya.
Hakatazayanya.
Hakatazayanya.
Hakayayawya.
Hakayayawya.
Wa Wakin.
Wa Hawak.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh Shah.
Hashem Yahweh Shah.
Tawada Aman.
What I'm on in English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yahweh.
Commanding General Yahweh.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh
In
Shah.
the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
Sar, which means to turn. Yeshabi, which means to be seated. All right, boys, clap it up. All right, we're in Genesis chapter 50, which is the last chapter and the last verse today of Genesis. Genesis chapter 50, verse 14.
14.
All right.
Well, not the last verse.
I believe that's the last verse. Oh, it's not. Okay, it's not Salaki. I'm thinking it's the last verse. That's the last chapter for sure.
Last chapter.
Genesis chapter 50 and verse 14. All right.
Genesis chapter 50, verse 14 in the Hebrew. Wayashab, Yaikwa, it's like Wayasap, Matazarari, Mawa'ah, Wa'akiwa, Wakal, Ha'ayo, Yom, Salaki, Athawa, Lakwabar, Abiyawa, Akaria, Kwabarwa, Abiyawa. Verse 15. Waira'awa, Akya, Yawa Sa, Kaya, Ma, Abiyahom, Ayamarwa, Lawa, Yasha, Tamnawa, Yawasa, Wahashab, Yashayab, Lanawa, Kal, Hara'ai, Ashar, Gamala, Gamal, Nawa, Athawa. Verse 16. Wayatazo, Wawa, All, Yawasa, La Mar, Abayak, Tazawa, La Panya, Mawa, Thawa, La Amar. Verse 17. Ka, Da Marwa, La Yawasa, Ana. Is that Ana? Ana, Sha'a, Na'a, Pashai, Akyak, Waka, Ta'atham, Kaya, Ra'ai, Gamla Wak, it's like wa da sha'a na'a la pa shai badya la haya abaya waya ba yawasa bara baram al yawa. Verse 18. Waya kawa, it's like waya lakawa, gam Akyawa, Waya Pawa, Lapanyawa, Waya Marwa, Hananawa, La Badium. Verse 19.
20.
Waya Mar, Alahom, Yawasa, Al, Daya Ra'awa, Kaya, Hathakha, Alahayim, Anya. Verse 20. Wa'atham, Hasha, it's like Hasha Batham, Al Ya, Ra'ai, Alahayim, Kashaba, Lataba, Lama'ain, Aisha, Kayawa, it's like Kayawam, Hazah, Laha, Kaya, Ain, Ra.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 50 and verse 14. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him, to bury his father, after he had buried his father. This is verse 15. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Verse 16. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the power of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of the Most High. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but the Most High meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. That was so heavy, because these are brothers, physical brothers, had the same father. And this brother Joseph, Yawasap in the Hebrew, his 10 brothers who sold him into captivity, they're older now. And they're still, because of the guilt, and this will happen to this has happened to every last one of us, because all of us sin in the world. Every last brother and sister have sinned, and some of us who are outside of the UPK continue to sin, right? You should always have that feeling of, I am due or I should be unalive by the hands of the Lord because of the evil I've done in the world. I should be absolutely dead because of what I did in the past. because of what I'm doing right now. Some of you are smoking weed as you're watching this class, getting high as you're watching this class. You should absolutely feel that feeling like the police are on your tail. That feeling like the FBI is out to get you. You should always have that feeling. Why? Because that lets you know you have a conscience of what you're doing. That lets you know that what you're doing, you know is wrong. You know being with another nation's white woman is wrong. You know getting high is wrong. You know voting is wrong. You know how I know you know voting is wrong? Because every election cycle, you always have the same complaints for every single elected candidate. Every single election cycle. Jimmy Carter wasn't good enough. JFK wasn't good enough. Donald Trump ain't good enough. Barack Obama wasn't good enough. You know it was wrong to vote for every elected official you've ever voted for in your entire life. Every last one. You know it was wrong. You know that the civil rights movement was wrong. You know being a Christian, it doesn't feel good. You know it's wrong because you get that sense of, man, this is just, I keep doing the same thing. Every time I come to this church, I got to ask God for some type of forgiveness. Every single time. Every time I go to the Muslim mosque and do Jama'ah, I always got to ask Allah for the same forgiveness because you know what you're doing is wrong. These brothers that Joseph had, they, after years, and when I say years, I mean it was a long time from the time they sold Joseph into captivity until Jacob, their father, passed away. That would have to be, 180 to 100 years, and they still felt guilt. They still felt guilt, which is righteous. They felt so guilty that when they finally finished burying their father, Jacob, Israel, they said to themselves this. This is Genesis chapter 50 and verse 15. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. They thought he was going to unalive them, sell them back to the hands of the Egyptians. That's what his brothers thought because of the evil that they'd done hundreds of years ago to their brother. They still had that feeling. This is, however, what Joseph had to say. This is Genesis chapter 50, verse 20 through 21. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but the Most High meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Here it is, this brother who displayed the brotherhood of Christ our King. He told his brothers, you don't have to worry about me hating you because all of a sudden you think I hate you because our father's dead? You think our father is the reason why I stopped hating you? He stopped hating them because he loved his brothers and he loved his people, which is why he said in the end of that same verse, to save much people alive. Who were the much people he saved alive? His people is who he saved alive. That's what he saved. He saved the lives of the Egyptians. He saved the lives of those Hamites that lived on the outskirts of the province of Egypt. And he saved the Israelites, his own people. If not for Joseph being, this is what he means. If you never sold me into the hands of my enemies, I would have never rose to the power to where I could help people. Now that's a whole different way of how to look at life. Like there's a type of person, me and his brother had this conversation before the class started, before Sabbath service. There's LGBTQ members who were violated. All LGBTQ members were violated when they were young. That's why they live an alternative lifestyle, a so-called alternative lifestyle that the Most High God does not approve of. The only reason you live an alternative lifestyle and get high is because some uncle or pastor or aunt touched you, violated you when you were a young boy or young girl. There are two types of people, though, who grow up from being molested or from being touched or from being violated at a young age, being assaulted at a young age. There's the type of person who was a victim their entire life, and they succumb to the disgusting act that was done to them when they were young. For example, what's that sodomite's name in Atlanta? The one who his mother said that she knew recently that came out. His mother said, I knew something was different with my son. I just didn't know what to say. He's in hip hop. He makes songs with the City Girls. What is that sodomite's name? He's a sodomite. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Saucy Santana.
I was about to say, I was going to say French Montserrat.
No, Saucy Santana.
Yeah.
For example, Saucy Santana. He's Billy Porter. Who else? RuPaul. These are cats who was sodomites or victims of sodomy when they were young boys by some uncle or some pastor. For the most part, some pastor. It's always happening in the Christian church. Some T.D. Jakes or some Eddie Long is touching your sons and your daughters. There's a type of brother who grows up to be like Saucy Santana, who grows up to be like a cat who you look and say, my God, what happened to him? And they are absolutely the very thing that that the person who touched them wanted them to be. They grew up to be that victim who is a woman now. They turn a young boy into a woman and a young girl into a lesbian. She's a boy with a jersey. Now she's a man. Now she's gonna be stepdaddy and she's a woman. To some woman's 6 kids that she had with 6 other men. Now she's some bull dagger, excuse my French, my language. Now she's some bull dagger who's playing a man, but she's a woman. Why is she acting like that? Why is she behaving that way? Because she was victimized when she was a little girl by some aunt or some uncle or some pastor in the church or some Catholic priest in the church. Then there's the type of person who grows up and they're strong. They say, you know what? I will not allow anything that happened to me to happen to another little boy or little girl. You know who the brothers who are like that? Brothers who are in prison. Brothers who are in prison, majority of them were victimized when they were little boys. But because they didn't have that mentality to succumb to being a full-fledged woman like RuPaul or Saucy Santana, they said, you know what, I'm going to be extra masculine so that I could fight this demon of homosexuality. That is 2 different types of victims, those 2 right there. And in life, those are the 2 types of people. There are people who are abused and battered and come from a hard scrabble background, and they grow up and they be drug addicts, LGBTQ. They use fentanyl and overdose on drugs. Then there's the type of person who becomes a doctor because of their hard scrabble background, because they were living hand to mouth. There's a person who becomes a lawyer from that background. There's 2 types of people in every category throughout life that you can examine life and say, I see the person he is, I see the person he is. This brother is a fighter, even though he suffered what was inflicted upon him, then this brother here is just weak. He's weak because of what was done to him. Joseph was the farmer. He was a brother who was not made weak because of the incident that happened to him, because of the victimization that happened to him. That brother was a victim, but brother, did he grow to rise to the occasion? Those are the 2 types of victims. Brother, you better be like Joseph. Are we in captivity? Yes, we're in captivity. Were you molested as a little girl and a little boy? Yes. Was your daddy not there? Yes. That's correct. You don't know your daddy. Your mother was a whore. That's true. But do you have to now become the thing that Satan wants you to become? Do you now have to succumb to being a drug addict? Is that your life now? So because you were molested, like everybody who was molested, you now have to be a woman? Instead of growing up to be a brother who says, I'm going to defend little boys from being the boy that I was, I'm going to make them strong and tough, and I'm going to teach them how to fight. You grow up to be like Saucy Santana. You put a wig and a dress on and become Tyler Perry's Medea. You now are a woman trapped in a man's body. Is that who you are now? Or you could be something greater than that, brother. What are you now, a whore because your father, your stepfather, every man that your mama brought in the house touched you when you were a little girl? So what does that give you the right to do? Abort every baby you have? Does that mean now you have to be a whore and let every man have sex with you and throw you away for a cheeseburger? Does that have to be your life? Or can you grow up to become Mae Jemison, the first black female astronaut? Can you grow up to become a pediatric neurosurgeon? You don't have to become the thing Satan wants you to become. You can be a triumphant, a brother or sister who triumphs over all of the hurt, pain, and destruction that was meant for your evil. The only way you're going to learn how to achieve that is if you come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander Janiana. This is the only place where brothers and sisters who are weak are made strong. This is the only place where brothers and sisters who are made victims in the world become brothers and sisters who triumph over a thing, who overcome something the way Joseph did. Joseph did it. He just told his brothers, what you meant for my evil, the Most High God, he turned it around for my good to help many lives. So instead of Joseph sulking in Egypt, becoming some sodomite, and being some pervert or some lascivious deviant, he grew up to be the viceroy of Egypt with an impeccable reputation. Remember, Joseph was the same brother who the man he served when he got to Egypt's wife lied on him and said, this man tried to rape me. He tried to take advantage of me. He did time unjustly. He went to prison for years for a crime he never committed. And he never wavered. His spirit never got weak. The brother never said, you know what, I did it. You know what, yeah, I'm a criminal. I'm just going to keep committing crimes because of my environment. That's not what Joseph did. You know what he did? He maintained his integrity. He kept it. He kept it intact. He kept his character that he learned from his father. The laws he kept from his father. He kept those things intact. Despite the turmoil, despite what he was facing in reality, he kept it all intact. And he grew to be viceroy over Egypt. And because of that, he was able to help the entire earth at that time. Everyone in earshot in his region, he saved their lives, not figuratively, literally, he saved their lives. Now, what are you going to be? Are you going to continue to be some brother or sister who, yeah, my daddy wasn't there? So what does that mean? Because your father wasn't there, you have to be a whore? Because, well, no man taught me how to love, so you can't go and learn a thing? What are you, an animal? Are you a dog or a cat? Is that what you are? You're just a cat and an animal. You just have sex with whatever looks good. You smoke whatever somebody puts in your stupid mouth. Is that what you are, an animal? I think you're sentient. I think you can have a mind and a brain and think for yourself and learn something. You don't have to be a victim your entire life. You don't have to succumb to the evil that was done to you. You can be strong. You can do it. How do I know? Because we did it. That's how I know. Because the brothers and the sisters in our school, the Isupk under Commander General Yana, we all were victims. All of us. All of us have been in terrible conditions as children. Homeless and molested, didn't know our fathers, grew up in prison, born in jail. All of us come from hard travel backgrounds. Who in the hell you think you're talking to? A bunch of rich Harvard college educated faggots like the IUIC? We are not. We are a bunch of criminals who were born to be criminals. But because we didn't succumb to the evil that someone did to us, we found Commander Juliana, man. And we learned how to be a winner. We learned how to win and be triumphant over something instead of evil triumphing over us. And those are the only two options you were given in life. And Joseph chose the former. And I pray you do too. I pray you come into this school and learn how to be a winner, a champion, someone who is strong and not someone who is weak. You're weak when you depend on drugs. You're weak when you depend on your oppressor to help you. You're made weak. You're weak when you go out and try to victimize other Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. You're weak. And here you learn how to be strong. And here you won't suffer that mentality of, well, this is just what the Lord had for me, like a Christian. Well, I guess this is what God wanted for me, Elisha. He must have wanted this for me. He must have wanted me to be on dope and in prison my entire life. No, he did not. He did not want you to do that. You know what the Most High God wanted you to do? He wanted you to go to war with being molested as a little boy and little girl. He wanted you to go to war with being born not knowing your father. He wanted you to go to war being born in a foster care system. He wanted you to go to war with that, Elisha. That's what he wanted for you. He didn't want you to grow up to be some sissy like T.D. Jakes and Eddie Long. He didn't want you to grow up and be Medea, Tyler Perry, who's a 6'6" man dressed as a woman. He can't stop being a woman. He thinks he is a woman. He thinks he's a big mama, some big grandmama, like old Big Frida in the IUIC. That's what he thinks he is. That's what happens to brothers and sisters who don't have the Isupk. But thanks be to God, here's the good news for you. You have the Isupk. You have an opportunity to do what your father didn't. You have an opportunity to do something that was not afforded to your grandfather who was a slave, your great-grandmother who was a slave. You have the opportunity to come into the truth and learn it. You have a golden opportunity to come into the Isupk under Commander Juliana and learn how to be a winner. Now that's up to you. You can continue to go through life a victim, or you can be a brother like Joseph and see that you need to overcome the evil that was done to you. Or you could just be Saucy Santana. So you can just be T.D. Jakes. You can just be Tyler Perry. The choice is yours. I pray you understand. So that's it, man. Go ahead, please.
And if I may, just to add on to what you're saying, if you notice the brother Joseph, in his position, when he had a chance to, get vengeance on his brother if he wanted to.
Right.
You understand? But him being, the Lord being with him and him seeing something bigger than his own motive.
Right.
And something bigger than what he wanted to do, he served the Lord. You understand? He was in a position of power to do anything to his brothers because what they did, they victimized him,
right.
Sold him into captivity. But he wasn't selfish. You understand? He wasn't selfish. And a lot of us are selfish when we don't follow the Most High God, when we don't understand what the bigger picture is in life.
That's right.
You understand? We get selfish. The first opportunity you're going to do, or oftentimes we do when we're in a position of power, is pay those back who harmed us.
That's right.
And you look at Christ, when he came to the earth, he didn't do that.
That's right.
He died for a nation of people who were absolutely didn't deserve his death. He was unalive for people who sinned and he was sinless. So he was in a position he could have got off that cross.
Yeah.
He could have walked away from and aborted the mission. Yeah. But guess what? He knew that life was better following the Lord. And he knows there is no life without your brothers and sisters or your nation.
That's right.
That's what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's what we don't focus on is each other. And these was his physical brothers. Hell, I'd be mad if anybody sold me into captivity for years. I don't give a damn who it was. But yet, Joseph said, you know what? I'm not going to do that to you. You ain't got to worry about that, man.
That's right.
You understand? I serve the Most High God.
That's right.
And that's what we do in the ISUPK and the Commanding Junior Honor. When we out here trying to teach our people right from wrong, it's not to abuse you or to hurt you. It's to show you that it's a better way of life.
That's right.
That the life that we've been living is against the Most High God, is conflicting with our growth as a nation.
That's right.
And that's all. So like
damn right out.
And we going back to the Hebrews, so like we in Genesis chapter 50, verse 21. Wa'aita al thayarawa anakya aka lakal salakia apakam wa'a tapakam waya nakum our thumb waya dabar al labam. Verse 22. Wayashab Yawasap Bamatazarim Hawa'a Wabaya Aba Yawa Wayakaya Yawasap Ma'a Wa'ai Shar Shanyam. Verse 23. Wayara Yawasap La'a Parim Banya Shalashim Gam Banya Makayar Ban Manasha Yala Yaladwa Al Barakya Yawasap. Verse 24. Wayamar Yawasap Al Akyawa Anakya Ma Wa'alahayim Pakwad Ya Pakwad Athakam Waha'ala Athakam Man Harataza Hazaa Al Harataza Ashar Nashabai La Barham Laya Tazakak Wala Yaikwa. Verse 25. Waya Shabai Yawasap Banya Yashala La Amar Pakwad Ya Pakwad Alahayim Athakam Waha'al Latham Aitazamathya Mazah. Verse 26. Wayamath Yawasat Ban Ma'ah I select what I shar Shanyam Wayakanatwa Wayakanatwa Athawa Wayayasham Ba Matazarium. Genesis, Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. I think that's where I'm stopping right.
That's where you stop.
Wala Shamwa Banya Yashala Haba Ayam Matazaria, Yaquab, Ayash, Waba Yahwa, Ba'a, it's like Ba'awa.
This is Genesis chapter 50, Salaki. Genesis chapter 50 and verse 21. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and the Most High will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Salaki, verse 25. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob.
All right. Back to the Hebrew. Exodus chapter 1, verse 2. Ra'awaban, Shemayawan, Lawaya, Wayahawada. All right. Verse 3. Yashashkar, Zabalawan, Wabanyamin. Verse 4. All right. Dan, Wana Padalia, God, Wa Ashar. Verse 5. Wayahaya, Kal, Napash, Yatazaya, Yarak, Yaquab, Shabayim, Napash, Wayawasa, Haya, Bamatazarim. Verse 6. Wayamath, Yawasa, Wakal, Akyawa, Wakal, Harawar, Hahawa'a. Verse 7. Wabanya, Yashala, Parwa, Waya Sharatazawa, Waya Rabwa, Waya Rabwa, Waya I Taza Tazamwa, Bama'ad, Ma'ad, Wathama La, Harataza Atham. Verse 8.
Last verse.
Waya Kwam, Malak, Kodah, it's like Kadash, Matazari, Mashar, Yadai, Yawasa.
This is Exodus chapter 1 and verse 2. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. So Ra'aban, Shemayawan, Loya, Yahawada, those are the names they just named in the Hebrew. I just went over, the brother just read them in Hebrew. Verse 3, Issachar, Shakar, Zabalawan, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Benjamin. Verse 4, Dan, and Naphtali, or Naphtali, Gad, God, and Asher. Verse 5, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. So you had Joseph in Egypt, which is still his son. He had Manasseh, he had Ephraim. Then you had the other 10 sons. All right, you had the other 11, including Benjamin. That's the other 11 sons that came into Egypt with Jacob, with Israel. Their sons and daughters, their families, total was just 70. Now, this is what I want you to remember to be prefaced with the rest of the book of Exodus. All right, I want you to remember that Israel, which is one of the youngest nations, who are the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. If you are from the West Indian Islands, if you are a Negro here in America, if you're from Haiti, if you're Hispanic or Latino, Latina from Dominican Republic, DR, Puerto Rico, Mexico, the Central and South America, you are an Israelite, right? When I say if you're from there, not meaning if you're a white man from Mexico or Armenian from Mexico. I mean, your forefathers were in Mexico when the Spaniards came with the conquistadors and unalived all of the brothers and sisters who were down there. You understand? Not a Spaniard, but someone who is the victims of Spain. You are the children of Israel. If you are a Negro in America, which means what? Your forefathers were brought to the East Coast and the South Coast of the country that we live in now called America, the United States of America. You are a Negro. You're a so-called Judite. You're a Judite, a so-called Negro. That's who you are. You came through the ports. Your forefathers came through the ports of South Carolina, of Virginia, of Baltimore, Maryland. That's where you came from, Louisiana. You understand? Those are ports, shipping ports that slaves were brought to go to their master's house, their master's living quarters, to be a slave for 400 years in the land of America. If you're a North American Indian, Choctaw, Chickasaw, when I say a North American Indian, I'm not talking about a $5 Indian, a white person that believes in the 5 civilized tribes. That comes from white men. That comes from the American government. When I'm saying a so-called North American Indian, from Canada all the way to the South American plains, you are a North American Indian, the people whose forefathers were here first, before the Spanish and the Portuguese and the Dutch and the French came here. You're a North American Indian. You're the so-called tribe of Gad. If your forefathers were North American Indian in the Seminole area where the Seminole Indians dwell, which was in Bama, Florida, Georgia, the South Coast, Louisiana, you're a Seminole Indian, then you're a Reubenite from the tribe of Reuben, which is the oldest son of Israel, firstborn son of Israel. You're a Reubenite. That's who you are, Seminole Indian. Okay? Those are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, Elisha. That is who we are. And that is who we are today. It's who we were then. Everyone understand? We came into Egypt with 70 people. That's it. That's my first cousins. I got 70 first cousins. That's how big my family is. I got, just my father's side alone, it's more than 70 of us. Between his 11, 12 brothers and sisters, all of their kids, that's 70 people. That's 70 people. That sounds about right. Okay? That's not much when you think about it. It's not even 100 people. That wouldn't even consist of a small town. Wouldn't consist of 70 people. It's at least like 7,000. So I want you to always remember this is very important. Everything in the Bible is very important. Okay, so what we're reading is very important so you can know our history and so that you can understand what we're going to read in the coming weeks in the book of Exodus. Everyone understand? So it said that there were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. Verse 6, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. So it said all his brethren and all his generation. What does that mean? Joseph passed away, and so did all of his 11 brothers. Okay, all of his brothers and him died. All right, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly. These things are important. Why do I say this is important, Elisha? Because these are the same people today who we were yesterday. So the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians today, we were the same people then, which means what? If we were the same people then, what does that mean? The things that were written about us were true then, and the things that were written about us are true now. So when it says that the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, it knocks out a lot of races of people out. On who are the Israelites?
That's right.
Are the Jewish man, the so-called Jewish man that that is the head of the ADL or the Anti-Defamation League? Those Jewish people who said that what Elon Musk did, that Nazi salute, he said it wasn't a Nazi salute. That's what they said. They came out and defended Elon Musk, who was not Jewish. Who was not Jewish.
He got plenty of money, though.
But he got the money to pay off a whole bunch of Anti-Defamation League CEOs and league chairmen. And they said it wasn't even anti-Semitic. Are those small hats, are they fruitful? I don't think so, Elisha. I think if you look at the statistics, the demographics of this country that they live in, and the statistics of Israel, they don't produce a lot of babies out. They're not very fruitful. Neither are white people out. You can just look it up. You can look up the death rate and the birth rate of white people. It is the same. You know what that means? It means that white people die just as much as they are born. Which means what? In the coming years, there won't be any white people. If Christ don't return to put them on and put them in chains and on slave plantations, there won't be white people because they don't have enough that are being born. They're not fruitful, Elijah. That's not fruitful. But you know who is fruitful? Brother, my great-grandfather had 22 kids. 22. That's called being fruitful, Elijah. I don't know if you know what that means. 22 kids is a lot to push out of one hole. That's a lot of kids. Black men and black women, Hispanics and Native Indians, that is a charge that we always get laid upon us by other nations. Look at all the kids they have. That's why they need so much welfare. There's the people on the earth who are known famously of being fruitful, of having so many kids effortlessly. You can hug. It's a funny joke they say that is not a stereotype because it is true. You can hug a Mexican and she's pregnant. That's true. I think I almost got. I hugged his sister. His sister was thick. I said in Oklahoma, he was with me. I said, "Dang, she's serving us liquor." I looked down at her. I said, "Damn, she's pregnant. She's pregnant already." That's us. Our sisters, brother, they so fertile. That's the word. Fertile. We were the same way back then. Remember, we started out with just 70 people coming into Egypt.
It's like not even the brothers too. The sisters are fertile, but those oppressive men, they
got to get in vitro fertilization.
I'm trying to be polite as I can be for this social media, but they seeds don't swim good.
Yeah,
they don't have
strong attention.
Yeah, they don't have strong seeds they don't swim.
They don't.
They not moving around in that thing.
That soldier, the white man's don't stand at attention now. You understand? But brothers, I mean, you be 80 years old, the brother still getting in with his old lady. And listen, they can still have kids out. My mother-in-law was like that. My mother-in-law was older. I ain't gonna give her age, but she was past her childbearing years, Elisha, and she had my rib. And I thank the Lord for it. She was an older woman like Sarah. And and that's just us because we're fruitful. And that's what the scripture says about the Israelites. They are fruitful. All right, let's keep going. And multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Brother, do you understand what I just read? The scripture 2 verses above it said that we started out with 70 people. The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel weren't even dead yet. The 12 sons that make up the 12 tribes, they weren't even dead yet. And already, right when they passed away, it said in the Bible, they were exceeding mighty. It means that was many of us from just 70, 70, all right? And the land was filled with them, just like in America. The land is filled with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You go down to Mexico, the land is filled with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Anywhere you go, you're going to find us. Because if it's just 70 of us that come to Great Britain, you know what's going to happen? By the 2000s, it's going to be filled with Benjamites from the West Indian Islands. Filled with Benjamites. Why? Because Benjamites are the 12 tribes of Israel, like one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and they are exceeding mighty. They can start with 70 people and become a nation within a nation. That is our story everywhere we go. It happened here in Egypt. It happened here in America. It happened in Africa when we fled the Romans in 70 AD. We became a nation within a nation because of the amount, how fast we can make children and make babies and grow them up, and just another generation. Listen, my rib has, this is black. This is very black and Hispanic. Elijah, y'all don't know what I'm saying. If you black and Hispanic watching, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying when I say this. It is really only found in black and Hispanic culture, where you have a brother you have a sibling, a sister or brother, and they're old enough to have kids that are older than you. My rib is like this. She has a niece that is older than her, and she has a great nephew who is the same age as her sons. My father, he's got a niece or nephew that's the same age as him or older than him by a year, and he has nephews and he has aunts and uncles who are younger than him and the same age as him. That's black family. Normally, in a nuclear household, the uncles and aunts are older than the nephews by years. Not in black and Hispanic households. You know why that is? because of the amount of years your father have had babies. Your daddy been having kids for 70 years, like it ain't stopped. You'll be 60 having a 20-year-old brother. That's black and Hispanic. You talk to white people like that, they don't even understand what we talking about. Huh? Your uncle, you an aunt to a niece that's older than you? That don't even make sense. That's how fast you're able to make babies out. You so fast that you're gonna have a child who has kids, and you're gonna have kids that are the same age as your great grandkids, the same age as your grandkids. That's how long you're gonna have kids out. I'm just black and Hispanic. That's what we do. That's Israelite. That's very Israelite of you. That's who we are in the Bible. That's who we are. We're Israelites. We're not, Africans. We're Israelites. Everyone understand? Let's keep going. Verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Remember, Joseph and his contemporaries, his generation is dead. They're gone. And the same people who ruled over Egypt, guess what, Elisha? They're dead too. The people who knew Joseph, meaning what? They knew his reputation. They knew who he was. They worked with him. He was a viceroy when he was alive for that Pharaoh that preceded this Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. This king now, the Bible said this. He didn't know Joseph. He didn't know none of them. He didn't know Joseph or his family. He just knew they weren't Egyptian. And that's the key. I want you to remember that, all right? It said, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. This could be a good thing or bad thing, Elisha. We're going to read on and we're going to find out which one it is. I think I know how it went down, Elisha. But we're going to read, just keep going. We're going to select it. So we're going to see if it was a good thing or a bad thing that Egypt has a new Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph or his family. Go ahead, Elisha.
This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 9 in the Hebrew. Wayamar al I'm wa hana I'm manya yashala rab wa I tazawam mama nawa. Verse 10. Haba nathaka kama lawa pan yaraba wahaya kaya takwa ra'awana malakama wana wasa gam hawa al shana yanwa wana laham banwa wa al la man harataza. Verse 11. Somebody's baby. Waya shayamwa al yawa sharya masayam lama aina tawa basabalatam wayaban araya masaka nawa la parai a patam wa a ra'ai masas. Verse 12. Wayaka ashar ya'ai nawa akawa kan yaraba wa kan ya parataza wayakwatazawa ma panya banya yashala. Verse 13. Waya I badwa matazarium banya yashala baparak. Verse 14. I'm gonna stop.
15.
Waya mar rawa.
The first word?
First word. Waya
Marawa.
Salakia.
Waya Marawa.
Waya Marawa.
There you go.
Hayayaham ba'ibada kwasha bakamar wabala banyam wabakar ibada bashada kar ibada thumb ashar ibadawa baham baparak. Verse 15, last verse. Wayashar malak matazarium lamaya lada ha'ai baraya ashar sham ha'cha shapara washam hashana ya pala'ai.
All right, this is Genesis. I'm Salakia. This is actually, we was in Genesis so long. We're in Exodus chapter 1 and verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. I wonder who else it sounds like. I always remember this. When you read the Bible, sometimes I don't want you to think about it like it was so long ago. I want you to think about it like what's happening right now. Because that is what the Bible is. It's history, and it's our history for sure. It's our Constitution for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It gives a historical record of our heroes, our people, throughout history in the world. But it also is prophecy. It's a living book, meaning what? That what happened then is what happens now. It's a phrase that they say history repeats itself. And that is so very true. So when you read the Bible, or when you read any other historical context, it doesn't just have to be the Bible. You can read history on World War II. I want you to keep in mind that what you're reading could happen, apply it to your life today. And that's going to help you remember things. It's going to help you understand things, especially when it comes to the Bible. Don't ever read or understand the Bible with an understanding of a Christian. And that's hard to do. And it takes a lot of training to get that out of you. But remember, this isn't some magical fairy tale made up book. This is the same way you can go and pull up articles and books about Genghis Khan. How do you know Genghis Khan and the Mongols won so many battles and they destroyed? This is a cool stat cool for me. I ain't gonna say it's cool for everybody because I like war history. I like history on the world, but I also love history on wars. This is a cool stat, right? The Mongol Empire, their military and army, Genghis Khan's military, the Mongols unalived so many people that they changed the carbon footprint on the earth. Meaning, everybody emits CO2. That's what plants are there for, to, clean the oxygen in the air, right? CO2 is what? Carbon dioxide, oxygen, and hydrogen, okay? I ain't no scientist, so just bear with me, but that's what CO2 is. The reason it's two is because it's two hydrogens. It's oxygen and it's carbon dioxide, I believe. If you breathe in pure, either one of those forms of the chemical makeup that makes up CO2, you would die. So you can't just have pure carbon dioxide, you can't have pure hydrogen, and you can't have pure oxygen. You would die. So you have CO2. Plants and trees, they clean the air. They scrub everybody breathes that out, right? So when it says carbon, it's talking about the carbon dioxide. They unalived so many people, the Mongols did, that they changed the CO2 levels out. They changed the carbon levels of the earth. It's so much so that it shows up in scientific researches and study. That's the reason they know this. That's how many people they unalived out. They unalived that many people, right? The Mongols. Now, how did you know that? How will we know that? Because it's in a history book. Because there was something called scribes way back then, right? Just bear with me. There was something called scribes way back then. And people would they didn't have the computer or internet. So what did you have to do to document things? Their job was a scribe. Like there was a job of a messenger who would go to take messages from city to city or country to country, from king to king, because of course you didn't have the internet. So you can't type, President Trump, your president, your leader, your king types it on Twitter and TikTok. That wasn't so 500-600 years ago and more.
Right.
There were people who had to jot things down. They had to write down what was taking place. That's the Bible. It's a history book. It's a history book of the account of a particular group of people. It's a history of from the beginning of time until the book of Revelations. There's a history book that the Lord, now remember, did those scribes write down every conversation that was had? Why doesn't the Bible talk about when Christ went to go defecate? Why doesn't it talk about when Peter and John went to go use the bathroom? Is that important to know? It's not. That's why it's not in the Bible. Okay? The Bible is a history book that is comprised of the history of a particular group of people known as the Israelites, who the world now knows as so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. There isn't every single thing in the Bible because the Lord only wanted to put the things that are in there because that's what he deemed to be important. Well, listen, just like you respect history books you get from the library on Genghis Khan or on World War II or on the Nazi Germany and the Third Reich or the medieval era or the Victorian era, if you get a history book on that, you're not going to say, well, this book ain't true. You ain't going to say, well, man, they talking about the Mongols and Genghis Khan. You never hear anybody challenge history books. You never hear anybody challenge history. Well, that didn't happen. No, that's not true. No, how can you prove that? That was man that wrote that. You never hear that when it comes to any other history book, Elijah. Surprise to your surprise. But when it comes to the Bible, because of Christianity, you make it to be some fairy tale, like it's a Hollywood script. The Bible is not a Hollywood script. It's a real life book of historical records that happened and took place. You can prove it. You can prove the flood happened. You can prove Christ walked the earth. You can prove there was a man, King David, and he slung that big giant African Goliath down with his slingshot because it's historical records. It's somebody jotted down stuff that happened, the things that happened during the days of Moses, during the days of David, during the days of Samuel and Prophet Nathan and the Prophet Daniel. There were people who were there jotting down everything, taking account of the things that were important that happened on a day-to-day basis. This isn't some made-up fairy tale, okay? So when you read the Bible, I always want you to read it understanding that. Always read the Bible to understand it's real. It's not fake. And not only is it real, Elisha, the things you learn in history, keep it in your mind because it's going to happen again. That I want you to remember. Okay. Now, with that in mind, this is Exodus chapter 1, verse 9. And he said, meaning the Pharaoh of Egypt, the king of Egypt, he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. You hear that, right? Okay. What does that sound like? I got a little time to break these things down, Most High Christ. What does that sound like to you, Elisha? Somebody online, before you answer, you probably gonna get the answer. What does that sound like?
Specific with mine.
Yeah, and I want you to use what's happening right now. And if I give you any more, I'm gonna give it to you. Somebody online, tell me what this is all. What is this called? Better known as what?
It's just some nut on
I'm gonna read. What did he say?
No, I was just saying. This is
okay. Well, I'm gonna give you about 2 seconds to respond. I'm gonna read it again. This is Exodus chapter 1 and verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. That last part, what is that? Who does that sound like today? I'm going to give it to you. I keep going. Elijah, you want to give the answer?
It sounds like Donald Trump.
Give the brother a hand.
Ice.
Give him a hand. And what is that called?
What, ice?
No. What is it called where it says, what is Donald Trump doing right now? Get them out of the land.
He wants the northern tribes, brothers.
Use the word. It starts with a D. The word starts with a D. Get them up out the land. What is that called today? Deportation.
Okay, deported.
That's what he said. Give him a hand. Well done. That was the right answer. Donald Trump ICE. That's what it says. Get them up out the land because there's so many of them. That's Donald Trump. All of these Mexicans coming across the border. I can't talk how ignorant and foolish he talks. All of these Mexicans, these bad hombres, they're coming across the border. And China, they're coming across the border and they're coming across with weapons and they're bad hombres and they're rapists when he's a goddamn rapist and convicted rapist and a felony for it and still is the president of the United States of America. And a bad hombre. He got the nerve, get a brother hand. He got the nerve to talk about the brothers and sisters from the tribe of Isupk, La Raza. The brothers and sisters from Naphtali. The brothers and sisters from Zebulon and Balawan. And he's a goddamn 34-count felon, sitting in office, raped a woman, and convicted of it in court. But he has the nerve to call the brothers and sisters from the tribe of Issachar bad hombres. This is the king of Egypt. This place we're in is spiritually Egypt. That's why what we're reading sounds so familiar, because it's happening again. Deportation. Why? Why are you deporting the Mexicans? Because you simply just hate that there are so many of them. They hate to just see your face, black man. They would love to deport you too. Don't think that Judites ain't next. That's why the 14th Amendment, don't forget this, and keep this in mind. Donald Trump signed an executive order, which is not a law. Executive order does not make it into law because, of course, laws have to go through Congress. All right? If you remember anything about American government from high school, there are 3 branches of government: legislative, judicial, and executive. Legislative is Congress. They fall under legislative, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Judges. Executive is everybody who works for the president. So the president on down. Okay? That's executive. An executive order does not put it into law, but it does set a precedent. When I say president, I mean president. Precedent. It sets a precedent on what that president wants for his term in office. So when Donald Trump signed that executive order to ban the 14th Amendment, that he took away citizenship, birthright citizenship, which is sacrosanct because it is in the Constitution, and Congress or the president is not allowed to contradict the Constitution, Elisha. This is how much of an idiot it is of the person you put in office, all because you hate Mexicans like Donald Trump. You're an idiot just like he is, right? He made signed an executive order, Elisha, this week, his first day in office on Monday, that birthright citizenship will be taken away. Shalom, brother. Which means what? What is birthright citizenship? What is the 14th Amendment? Where did that come from? Slaves in America. The tribe of Judah, the Negroes. So in essence, what is that saying? Here you are, a black person. This is what I'll never understand either, Elisha. How can you be from the tribe of Judah, a Negro in America, and hate Mexicans? How can you do it? When didn't just 150 years ago, you suffered the same exact persecution that the brothers and sisters that's coming across the border suffered? That's why there is a 14th Amendment, dummy, for your black behind, for you. That's why there's a 14th Amendment for black slaves, children of slaves whose parents were born here. And because the white man didn't know what to do with them, they made a law to say, well, they were born here, so they're natural citizens. And it is in the Constitution of the United States of America. It's the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. Well, what did Donald Trump do Monday, Elisha? This idiot signed an executive order that took that away, which he cannot. Okay, and judges, and he's facing so much law suits, and I mean, it's ridiculous how much of an idiot he is. But why did he do it is the real question, Elisha. Why did he do it? Does anybody want to give a guess on why Donald Trump did it? We just read it in the Bible. We just read about it in the Bible. Anybody want to give a guess on why Donald Trump is such an idiot? He signed an executive order that takes away birthright citizenship. Why did he do it? Anybody want to just give the answer that's right in front of your face? Why did he do it? Elijah, you want to give the answer?
He don't want no more Mexicans.
Give the brother a hand. He don't want blacks, Hispanic, or Native Indians here. That's the reason. He don't want no niggas. He don't want he don't want the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel in America. So he signed specifically, yes, the tribe of Isupk, the Mexicans, the so-called Latino tribes. He doesn't want them here in America. And so, just like the king of Egypt that we're reading about, what did he say? And so get them up out the land. That's what he wants. He doesn't want us in this land. White people don't want you here, black man. And that's something you always better remember while you're trying so hard to be a coon in white people's face like Nelly and Snoop Dogg performing at the goddamn White House. They don't want you here, dummy. What are you performing for them like you're Otis and Andy, Amos and Andy? You're an idiot and you're a sellout. And God is going to judge you black and Hispanic people who sold out your brothers and your sisters the last 400 years in this captivity. The same way he judged Caiaphas and he judged the Korah and Dathan and the princes of the assembly. God hates you traitors like Nelly and Dr. King and Malcolm X and Snoop Dogg. You're a traitor to your people and sold black and Hispanic people out so white people can treat us more cruelly. You don't think there are black billionaires and lawmakers who have the power and the funds and the economics and power to help change reality for black people? There are some, but they choose not to because they love white people. Let me hip you Uncle Tom sellout, stepping, fetching, Amos and only niggas to something. The white man don't like you either. He hates you just like he hates poor black people. That pastor that got up there and was doing all that hooping and hollering at the church at the inauguration, Donald Trump wants to see him out the country too. You think that white people have some type of fealty to black people who are act good, the good black people. They do not. They don't love you more or less than they love the poor black people, the niggas that they hate. They don't love you more or less. They hate us all the same, just like this king of Egypt hated us 2,000 years ago in Egypt. He hated us the same, all of us. He said, get them all up out of here. That's Donald Trump. And for the life of me, Elisha, why would any Mexican vote for Donald Trump when Donald Trump didn't show allegiance to any Mexican? He didn't say, I want the good hombres to stay. He called all of you Mexicans rapists. He didn't say, well, some of them are good, some of them are bad. That's not what he said, Elisha. He said that there are bad hombres coming across the border. He wasn't talking about the Arabs coming across the border. He wasn't talking about the Armenians or the Chinese or the North Koreans. He was speaking specifically about the tribe of Isupk, La Raza. That's what he was talking about. He said there are bad hombres and we got to build that wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. That's what he said his first term. Now he just signs an executive order because he wants all of us out of here, especially the Latino tribes. Now, how could you in good conscience and good faith as a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian love white people when you see how much they hate you? This is the Bible. This is what we're reading about right now. There's a king that the Lord set up over Egypt while the children of Israel were there. And that king wanted all of us gone. All of us gone. Why? Because they, in fight against us, they joined also unto our enemies. We didn't join into nobody's enemies. This is something that this king, just like Donald Trump is an idiot, this king of Egypt is an idiot. He's saying things that hasn't even happened. Just like Donald Trump is saying all that fentanyl coming across the border. All of the drugs coming across the border. They're bad hombres coming across the border. Every Mexican is a cartel member. This is the things Donald Trump is saying. Are those things true, Elisha? They are not true. They are absolute lies. We wasn't trying to join the enemies of Egypt. We weren't trying to fight against Egypt. You know what Black people want in life? We just want to live peacefully. That's all we want. But because heathens don't understand that, and this is the thing I want Black and Hispanic people to understand. Heathens don't understand what it means to be civil. They can't live somewhere and just live and not have to fight every goddamn body. That's something that only a heathen doesn't understand. White people especially. They don't know how to just get along with people next to them. They have to shoot a 17-year-old boy who knocks on the wrong door. You didn't even look through the peephole. You just shot whoever knocked on the goddamn door because you're not civil. You're not a good neighbor. You're going to be some white girl in New York, in upstate New York, traveling off the beaten path and try to get directions from a neighborly neighbor, white man, who's a damn construction worker, and he's going to shoot you in his parking lot for you coming up on his property. That is very white and African and Arab. That is very heathen to just be an animal, to not even care about the people who you live next to not be civil to them. That is very heathenistic. That is not Israelite culture. Something they don't understand and cannot understand is maybe there are people who just want to live peacefully. Maybe there are people who don't want to fight every goddamn day, don't want to scrap every day, don't want to kill every day, don't want to live hard every day, don't want to live in those tiny square tenement apartments in New York. Maybe there are people who want to just live peacefully, raise their families, be educated, love, and just grow their families and do good things in life. Be Mae Jemison, be W.E.B. Du Bois, Langston Hughes, be the brothers and sisters who are Black scientists, Hispanic doctors and lawyers, and people who made a difference in society. Maybe that's who we just want to be. Why do every other race of people have to be so evil and cruel? Why the hell would the king of Egypt even say those words? Because he hates the Israelites. Why would Donald Trump say that all Mexicans are rapists? Because he hates the Israelites. Why in the hell would the white people enslave a whole race of people for 260 years? Because they hate the Israelites. They are animals and you are not, Black man. And that's what you better, if history doesn't teach you anything else, if the Bible doesn't teach you anything else, you better understand how cruel your oppressors really are. I don't think you quite understand it because of democracy and because of civil rights. I don't think you understand the level of cruelty you're dealing with the oppressor. He's an animal. He doesn't care about babies and children. The Bible tells you that. He has no countenance of man or woman, of old or young. This is an animal you're dealing with in Donald Trump. This is an animal you're dealing with in the Democratic Party. This is an animal you're dealing with in the Republican Party. This is an animal you're dealing with in America. You can't see the signs of the times. You can't see how white people hate you, no matter what job you have or no matter what your status is in life. You can't see that. You can't see their cruelty. Well, no sweat. God is going to help you see their cruelty, just like he did in Egypt. Here we are wanting to live peacefully, raise a family peacefully and grow families and be loved and love each other in unity and harmony. That's what Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people want. But guess what the other nations want for us? They want death. They want destruction. They want to see our children being torn apart in their mother's belly in a goddamn Planned Parenthood clinic. That's what they want, because they're animals and they're cruel and they don't understand civility and love and peace. They want war. That's what they want. They want destruction. That's what they want. You know what those Israelis want? The Jewish man wants destruction. How can he be the chosen people of God when he does not seek peace with those who seek peace with him? The Palestinians just want to live in a country of their own, and he can't provide them that. He has to murder their babies on the Sabbath day. He has to bomb their children on the Sabbath day. He has to destroy their families on their Sabbath day because they're animals. And they are not Black and Hispanic. They're not the real Israelites. But Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are the real Israelites. And we know what it means to just want to live in peace and love and harmony and obey our God. But the other nations cannot stand it. So what do? We have to get them the hell up out of this country. We have to destroy their families. They have to go to Planned Parenthood. They have to be euthanized like Margaret Sanger did in the 1940s and 50s and during Planned Parenthood. That's who invented the goddamn thing. A white woman who you niggas love that play basketball. You love to marry Margaret Sangers every day. She's the reason your children will not be born. That same white woman. Here you are kissing her in the mouth because you understand peace and love. All you want to do is love everybody. But they do not want to love you. They do not want to accept you. They do not want to live peacefully with you. They don't want to be civil. They want this. This is what they want. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens. You know what Donald Trump wants to do to Mexicans? He wants to give them more work. That's what he wants to do, Elisha. Mexicans have worked for this country for years for free. Pick corn, pick cotton, pick fruits, pick mangoes for 2 cents a pound, 4 cents a pound, 3 cents a pound. And guess what when Donald Trump sees Mexicans working in the field for 2 cents a pound of oranges they pick in California, guess what this bastard wants to do? He wants to deport them to bring them back just so they can work more, just so they can work harder, just so they can pick more fruit, just so they can pick more vegetables. You know what happened when the slave masters saw black people singing in the field? They gave us more work. They said, well, shit, they must enjoy it too much. They can pick another 500 pounds of cotton a week. So here your forefathers are on the shores of Georgia and Florida picking cotton in Mississippi, and all you try to do is survive every day from can't see to can't see. And what did the white man say? Did he have mercy on you? Did he have mercy on our forefathers? He did not. He gave you more work. That's what the Egyptians did to us 2,000 years ago, Elisha. He saw that all we wanted to do was be civil and be peaceful, good neighbors. What did he do? Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters. Who was a taskmaster? An overseer. That white man that whips that crack over that horse, and he whips that crack so he can do what? You to work faster. They put taskmasters over us. White men, oppressors, Egyptians that say, here, go move this. Go pick this. What? You talk back? Wow. And they whip that crack, Elisha. That's a taskmaster. That's what the oppressor did for us in Egypt. That's what he does to us now in America. That's what he does to us now in Great Britain. That's what he does to us now in Mexico, in Central and South America, in Puerto Rico, and in Haiti. They have taskmasters over us to do what? To afflict us with more burden, with more work, with more labor. Life is already hard enough being black and Hispanic, goddamn. You already didn't grow up with your father. Your mother already had 5 different daddies that you had to call daddy in front of you when you were a child. You already raped and molested as a little girl, a little boy. You had to see terrible things on Prospect growing up in the hood, terrible things in Harlem, terrible things in Chicago, terrible things in Culiacan, terrible things in Tamaulipas. You already had to see ICE come and get your daddy and your mama and separate you like you do a piece of paper. You rip a piece of paper apart. You already had to see your mama go to Planned Parenthood to abort your 5th sister or brother who could have potentially been a sister or brother to you. You already grew up in terrible homes. Water ain't on, electricity cut off every week, Gas ain't on. Gas is cut off every week. And here the white man sees your condition. He sees your oppression. And what does he say to himself, Elisha? Afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities. That's the only thing the white man cares about. That's the only thing heathens care about. What can you do for me? That's it. They don't see the kindness in man. They don't see the humility and the peace and the love in blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They don't care about that. Dr. King, here he is getting his ass beat every day on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama. And what did the white police officers in Alabama do in 1962? They beat him even more. They beat him even more. Here Dr. King is trying to show white people how much they are trying to restrain themselves from hitting them. They don't hit white cops. They get beat by white cops. What do white cops do? They beat them even more. If you are a black and Hispanic in a position of power and you're beating some brother, some poor brother, you beating them, and you can see this brother has just given up. He's not hitting you back. He's not a threat anymore. Black and Hispanic men wouldn't continue to beat that brother. You know what we would do, Elisha? We would get the hell up off of that brother and let him live. Not white people, Elisha. Not the Chinese, not the Africans, not the Arabs. You know, when they see us suffer, you know what they do? They say to themselves, well, shit, they must like to suffer. Let's let them suffer more. Let's increase their suffering. Let's increase their burdens. That's the oppressor. That's the heathens that we have to suffer and live under and serve every day. That's who we live under. People who are cruel. People who are never will be like us. Ever. They will never have the kindness that we have, that you have, that your grandmothers had the day they followed Dr. King on that bridge. Those white men saw 17-year-old, 14-year-old black kids on the bridge in Alabama getting beat. What did they do, Elisha? They sick dogs on them. That's what they did. They said, well, damn, they're not fighting back so much. They must like to not fight back. Let's sick dogs on them, Elisha. Let's turn water hoses on them. Let's blast them to smithereens with water and dogs and billy clubs and guns. 14-year-old black kids, 16-year-old black kids. That is what we suffered 2,000 years ago. It's right here in front of you. Don't you see it? Don't you see that time is not, the history is repeating itself? Time is repeating itself. The same people who are oppressed then are the same people who are oppressed now. We are those people who are oppressed, man. We are the children of Israel who have suffered and died and came back and been enslaved and suffered and died some more. We are those people, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to love America? Are you going to serve your oppressor? Are you going to be some stepping, fetching Amos and only like Nelly and what's it, Snoop Dogg? Is that who you're going to be? Or are you going to be something better? Like we talked about earlier, Elisha. Are you going to grow from that and triumph over it? Let's keep going. Verse 12. Salakia. Pithom and Ramesses. Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. You hear that, Elijah? The more they oppressed us, the more we grew. Here you are thinking, and this is how you know, Elisha, this is an age-old question. Could white people endure the type of suffering that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians endured? You know what the answer to that question is? I think every black and Hispanic knows the answer to that question. If white people or Arabs or Africans had to suffer what we suffered, would they be who we are today? They wouldn't exist. How do I know? Because of all of the murder that other races of people have waged on us, the war that have been waged on us. They wouldn't be able to overcome that. Why? Because they can't even have enough babies while they're free men to keep up with the amount of them that died. White people died 100 years old, 100. But they're not having that many babies to even keep up with the many people that died in their race. They could not have survived that. The Egyptians could not have survived that. The Africans, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, they would not have survived the affliction and the suffering that we suffered. But you know who did overcome it? We did. We did. Just like we overcame it today. 200 years ago, we were in chattel slavery in the South of America. In this state right here in Missouri, Our forefathers picked cotton. Did that stop us from growing, Elijah? It did not. We still made more babies. We still had families. We still, a generation after slavery during the Reconstruction era, you had brothers and sisters who were black doctors, black lawyers, and black scientists and black inventors. Black History Month is coming up next month. You had brothers and sisters who a generation after slavery became something more than our oppressor. That is a testament to how resilient black people are. That is a testament to who we really are. We are the children of Israel. How do I know? Because it happened to us once before. You think that this is the first time some king has tried to expel the children of Israel out of the country who they were in first? This is not. That king just was born. The Israelites came 70 deep before this king of Egypt was even born. We were there before he was. And what did he try to do? Expel us, deport us. That's what he tried to do. Let's keep going. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And they were grieved. Brother, come on. This is heavy, For time's sake, I can't keep breaking everything down, every scripture, every line down. But brother, this is heavy. You know why this is so heavy? Because this is what's happening today. What's happening to our brothers from the tribe of Isupk, the so-called Mexicans, what's happening to them and what's happening to our people is what happened to us in Egypt thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago is what happened to us. It said that, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. What does that mean? Somebody break that down real quick. What does that mean? They were grieved because of us. Elijah, you want to break that down? They were grieved because of us. What does that mean? They were grieved because of us. Somebody want to help each other out. Somebody help each other out to understand what that means. What does that mean? Somebody was grieved because of them. Does that mean that they were sad because of their mistreatment to the Israelites? Is that what that means?
Talking about the other nations?
The Egyptians. It said in the Bible.
They were mad.
Go ahead.
No, they were just upset simply because they were there.
Give them a hand. That's true. That is our oppressor right now. They're grieved at the sight of just us. Not because of their mistreatment of us, because white people do not regret slavery. White people do not regret the mistreatment that their forefathers endured on our forefathers. They don't regret that at all. But you know what they do regret? That you're even here in this country. They hate to see your face. They say, damn, all these guys. Brother, look up, Elisha, how many Mexicans, demographics. Look up the demographics of how many Mexicans are in the country right now. And then I want you to look up how many white people are in the country, right? And let this help you out. Let this blow your mind. Let this help you understand the scripture. This brother's about to look up how many Mexicans are in America, and then he's going to look up how many white people are in America. Because Donald Trump, he's a white man. Who do you think Donald Trump sees more of, white people or Mexicans? Somebody answer that question. Does Donald Trump see more white people every day in Mar-a-Lago, or does he see more Mexican people when he goes to Mar-a-Lago? When he travels to his vacation spots, do you think that he sees more white people at those vacation spots? Or do you think he sees more of his people at those vacation spots? Let's look it up and see. The brother's looking it up right now.
For some reason, it's only pulling up.
That's fine, 2023. That's fine, go ahead. What does it say?
So in 2023, there were approximately 37.99 million people of Mexican descent living in the United States.
So let's say 38. Let's round it up and say 38 million. And let's see how many white people are in America. How many white people, demographics. Look at the demographics of how many white people are in America. There's 38 million Mexicans in America. What's the population of America? 350 million? So 10% of the American population are Mexicans, right? Remember that, 10%. Now how many white people? Woo, what did that say, Elijah?
219.
Say it again?
219 million.
219,000.
Million.
Come on now. Damn near 10% of the white population is Mexican. And Donald Trump complains and is mad when he sees one Mexican face out. One Mexican face crosses the border. They only make up 10% of the white race. And he's angry at one face crossing that border. That's the hatred the king of Egypt had in this passage right here. That these Egyptians had right here. they were grieved at the sight of Israel. He hates to see one Mexican brother, and there's more white people he sees on a day-to-day basis than a brother. That is the cruelty of your oppressor. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel, so like 1:15, I'm stopping at 15. And they made their lives, so like, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Who knows what that means, to serve with rigor? For time's sake, I'm going to give it to you. It means to serve hardship, hard. Not only are you serving, it's one thing to serve, it's another thing to serve with rigor. Rigor is hard scrabble. It's rough, tough. You know what rigor is? It's making Mexicans pick your fruit and vegetables for your country to sustain an economy where the fruits and vegetables are not $15 a pound. The Mexicans are heroes to America because if not for them, then you would buy a $15 banana. You would buy a $50 watermelon. Watermelons would be $45 a pop if it was not for the Mexicans picking watermelon. Bananas would be $50 a pound if it were not for the Mexicans. Corn that you get that is so easily accessible, the vegetables you get, the fruits you get from California and Florida, the mangoes, there will be $50 a pound for one mango. One mango will be $60 out. $60 if not for the Mexicans. Not only don't they serve us, but they serve America with rigor. Not only does Donald Trump make them, not only does America have Mexicans picking fruits and vegetables for 60 cents a pound, Elisha, he's going to deport them, bring them back, and have them do what? Pick the fruits and vegetables for free. Not only is that cruel, that's rigor. That's rigor. And if they don't do it, they get what? Who wants to blow my mind? What happens in prison if you don't do what the warden says? I heard a brother tell a story. He was in Beaumont. He's a famous rapper. He was in Beaumont. And he said that when he got down there, they tried to make He said they tried to make the brother pick cotton, and he said, I wasn't going for it. He said, brother, black men began to turn on him like, nigga, you better go down there and pick that cotton. And he said, I thought we was all supposed to be bucking the system. You find out that you're not. Why? Because those brothers in Beaumont prison in Angola are made to serve with rigor. That's why. And that's our life here in Egypt. And that's our life here in Egypt. Everyone understand? Verse 13. Start like it. Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. This is slavery, This is what that is, slavery. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Now this is my question, Elisha, Salakia. I thought this damn bastard Pharaoh, king of Egypt at this time, said he wanted to get them out of Egypt. If he wanted to get them out of Egypt, why is he making them work in Egypt as slaves? That's how you know what's about to happen to the Mexicans here in America. You see them getting transported off the plane, off of military C-130 planes on Fox News and MSNBC, Elisha. They show the images of Mexicans being transported off of planes, military planes, back into their home countries. You better look closely. They won't be there for long. Why? Because Donald Trump is going to bring them back to America to work for free. How do I know? Because they did it 1,000 years ago. They did it everywhere. In Nazi Germany, here in America with us. They tried to deport us. You know what Marcus Garvey's job was? To deport us to Africa. Then they was going to bring us back again so we can work for free. White people can't go without slaves. So whenever you hear white people saying, deport them, send them back, deport them, that's some poor redneck country bumpkin saying that. White people in positions of power, they hate you just as much as that racist KKK member. But they're not serious about deporting the Mexicans to Mexico. They want free labor. That's what they want. Just like this bastard Pharaoh, what did the king of Egypt just say? We got to get them out of here. So if you got to get them out of here, why did you make them slaves? They're slaves in where? In Egypt. Where are the Mexicans? In America. So you don't want to get rid of them. You want them to work for you for free. You want a slave. That's all. You just want slavery to come back. And it is going to happen here in America. It's right in front of you right now. If you watch the news and open your eyes. It's happening again. The same thing that happened in Egypt is happening again right here in 2025. Slavery. So all those white people that say slavery is in the past. I beg your pardon. Slavery is right in front of me with the Mexican brothers and sisters picking all your fruits and vegetables. The same thing they did in Egypt. This is verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. That was it on that one. So like I know went over a little bit. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on going. Just remember the things that we're talking about, and remember what we're reading here in the Bible is what's happening and taking place in front of your eyes right now in America. Just remember that.
This is Exodus chapter 1, verse 16 in the Hebrew. Wayamar, what's that? Bayaladkan.
Tom, you said it right.
Bayaladkan. Ha'ai Yawaf. Wara Yatha, Salaki, Wara Ahyathan. Wara Ahyathan. Al Ha'abanyum, Ban Hayawa, Wahamatham, Athwa, Wa'am, Ba, Haya'a, Wahaya. Verse 17. Wathayaran, Hamaya Ladaf, Halahayim, Wala'a, Aishawa, Ka'ashar, Dabar, Alahan, Malak, Matazarium, Wathaka, Yayan, Hayaladium. Verse 18. Wayakora, Malak, Matazarium, Lam Yalah, Salaki, Lama Yaladah, Wayamar, Lahan, Madawai, Aisha Yatham, Hadabar, Hazah, Wathaka Yayan, Hayaladium. Verse 19. Maran. It's like Marana. First word.
Maran.
Maran. Hamayaladah. Al. Parai. Kaya. Kanashim. Hamat Tazaryath. Ha'ai Barayah. Kaya. Hayawat. Hazah. It's like Hana. Bataram. Daba wa'a alahan hamaya ladaf wayaladwa. Verse 20.
You started at 22. Come on.
Wayayata alahayim lam yaladaf wayarab ha'aim wayaitazamwa ma'ad. Verse 21. Wayahaya kaya yara awa hamaya ladaf ha alahayim waya aish laham bathyam. Verse 22. Wayatazawa parai lakal aimwa la amar kal haban hayala wad hayara dashala Kahawa Wakal Habat Akayawan.
All right, this is Exodus chapter 1, verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men and children alive. Verse 18, and the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore the Most High dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Verse 21, and it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Just knocked out.
So Exodus chapter 2, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Wayalak, Ayash, Mabayah, Lawayah, Wayakwak, Bath, Lawaya. Verse 2. Wathahar, Ha'ashar, it's like a Ha'ashah, Wathalai, Ban, Wathara'a, Athawa, Kaya, Tawa, Hawa'a, Wathataza, Panhawa, Shalash, Yara, Rayakium. Verse 3. Wala'a, Yalakar, it's like Yakar, Yakala, Iwad, Hatazap, Yanawa, Wata Kwak, Lawa, the Ba, Gama'a, Wata Ka Mara, Baka Mar, Wabaza Pat, Wata Shom, Ba, A, Hayala, Wata Shom, Basawat, Al, Shapat, it's like Shapat, Haya Ara. Verse 4. Wata the Taza, Aka Akathwa, Marakak, Lada I, Ma, Ya Aisha, Lewa. Verse 5. Wata Rad, Bat, Parai, Lara Khataza, Al, Haya Ra. It's like Haya Ra. Wana I Rakya, Halaka, Al, Yad, Haya Ara, Wata Ra'a. Hatha Batha Wak, Hasa Wak, Watha Shalach, Ama Da, Watha Kwak. Verse 6. Watha Pa, Watha Pa Dak, Watha Ra'a Hawa, Hayalad, Wahana, Na'ir, Baka, Watha Kamal, Alyawa, Watha Amar, Mayaladia, Ha'ibara, Ha'ibarium, Za, verse 7. Last verse. Watha Amar, Akathwa, Al, Bath, Parai, Ha'alat, Wakwa, Ra'afya, Lat, Asha, Maya Nakwak, Man, Ha'ibara, Wathaya Nak, Lak, Hayalad.
This is Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the babe wept. And she hid Salakia, and she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Verse 7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? All right, go ahead. That's the last thing.
Exodus chapter 2, verse 8. Watha Amor, La, Ba, Parai, Lakiya, Watha Lak, Ha'ayal Lama, Watha Korah, Hayalad. Verse 9. Watha Amor, La, Ba, Parai, Hayala, Yakya, Hayalad, Hazah, Wahanak, Hawa, Laya, Wa'anya, Athan, Akarak, Watha Kwak, Ha'asha, Hayalad, Watha Yahwa. Verse 10. Wayagadal, Hayalad, Watha Ahawa, Labath, Parai, Wayahaya, La, Laban, Watha Korah, Shamwa, Masha, Watha Amor, Kaya, Man, Hamyam, Masha Yahwa. Verse 11. Wayahaya, Bayamim, Haham, Wayagadal, Masha, Wayataza'a, Al, Akayawa, Wayara, Basa, Balatham, Waya Ra'a Ayash Matazaria Maka Ayash Ibaria Ma'akayawa. Verse 12. Wayapan Ka Waka Wayara Kaya Ayan Ayash Wayak Hamatazaria Wayata Tam Naha Wayat Ma Wayat Manahawa
Manahawa.
Wayat Manahawa Bakawa. Verse 13. Wayataza Bayawam Hash Naya Wahana Shanya Anashyam Ibarium Natazayum Wayamar Lara Shai Lama Laka Ra'ik. Verse 14, this last verse. Wayamar Maya Shemak La Yash Shar Washapat Al Yanawa Hala Hagarnaya Ashar. It's like Amar Ashar Haragat Hamatazaria Waya Ra'a Masha Waya Amar Akan Nawa Dai Hadabar.
All right. This is Exodus, go ahead, clap it up, chapter 2 and verse 8. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water. Salakia. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Shalom. You can come in. The brother can come in. Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Verse 14. And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, Surely this thing is known. Come on, mighty man. We just ended it up right now. Ituah. I imagine, which means to stand, just us up here, stand. No, just us up here. Ituah. Uh-huh. Alright. No, you was right, you right. Alright. Sar.
La Yashala.
Sar. Alright, I imagine, which means to stand, everybody stand. Point Uncle Dom. Alright. Alright, we're gonna read the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Face the, so we'll point your huckle down, which means to rise and face east, so you're gonna face that way.
I'm gonna put this right here.
You two are, go ahead, mighty man, you are. Go ahead, Elisha. Go ahead, Elisha.
Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemkat. Yahweh. Malakluka. Taba'ah. Batazai. Hayah. Aisha. Baharatazah. Kawa. Hayah. Hashemayim. Badandanawa. Lacham. Yawam. Wasalachanawa. Kawawafnawa. Kasalachnawa. Kawawafnawa. Wala'ah. Gabayanawa. Banasayawam. Kabal. Tawashayanawa. Mayan. Ra. Hayah.
Amen. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Hakak, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Babakashah.
Babakashah.
The thunder now.
The thunder now.
Hakak.
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 La Pa'a.
La Pa'a.
Kal Makala.
Kal Makala.
Kal Marawa.
Kal Marawa.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La Tahar.
La Tahar.
Hamatazariah.
Hamatazariah.
Hakak.
Hakak. La Haku.
Hamathi.
Hamathi.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Akawa.
Arakawa.
Atamawa.
Atamawa.
The Garshan.
Garshan.
Ba'Shem
Ba'Shem
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
The Wada
The
Aman.
Wada Aman. In English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the name
Yahushua.
of Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All men of sickness.
All men of sickness.
And all men of disease.
And all men of disease.
The power to cleanse the
The power
lepers.
to cleanse the
The
lepers.
power to raise the
The power to
dead.
raise the dead.
The power against
The
unclean
power against
spirits.
unclean
To
spirits.
cast them out.
To cast them
In the
out.
name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. The prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayashala.
Wayashala.
Waha.
Waha.
Bayasapar.
Bayasapar.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magun.
Magun.
Hagun.
Magun.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Ba'Shem Yahushua.
The Wada Aman.
The water Aman. What we just said was Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it. You still gonna turn around, KD. All right, go ahead.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahari.
Ahahari.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Isaiah.
Azariah.
Isaiah.
Azariah.
Ma'an.
Ma'an.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shemaiah.
Shemaiah.
Waharatazah.
Waharatazah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regalka.
Regalka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Lana.
Lana.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamor.
Shawamor.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamnika.
Yamnika.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashemash.
Hashemash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakayaka.
Yakayaka.
Wayarah.
Wayarah.
Walayala.
Walayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Yakalra.
Yakalra.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Afnapash.
Afnapash.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'at.
Taza'at.
Wabawaka.
Wa'awak.
Wa'ida.
Wa'itha.
Wa'ai. Awalam. Aman.
Aman. In English, I will lift my eyes into the
I will lift
hills.
up mine eyes into the
From
hills.
whence cometh my
From
help?
whence cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from
My
Yahweh,
help coming from Yahweh,
which made heaven and
which
earth.
made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to
He
be
will not
moved.
suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth
shall
Israel
neither slumber nor
shall neither
sleep.
slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy
The
right
sun
hand.
shall not smite
The
thee by
sun shall
day,
not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by
nor the
night.
moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve
Yahweh
thee
shall preserve thee
from all
from
evil.
all
He
evil.
shall preserve thy
He shall
soul.
preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going
Yahweh
out
shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming
and
in.
thy coming in.
From this time
From
forth
this time forth
and even
and
forevermore.
even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahaya.
Alahaya.
Al Damayalaka.
Al the Mayalaka.
Al Bakarash.
Al the Harash.
Al the Shakwa.
Al the Shakwa.
Al.
Al.
Kiyahana.
Yahana.
Awiyabika.
Awiyabika.
Yahamayawan.
Yahamayawan.
Amashanai.
Amashanai.
Nashawa.
Nashawa.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al Aimaka.
Al Aimaka.
Yariyam.
Yariyam.
Sawa.
Sawa.
Wayatayai Tazawa.
Wayatayai
Al
Tazawa.
Tazap Pawanyaka.
Al Tazap Pawanyaka.
Amawa.
Amawa.
Nakawa.
Nakawa.
Nakaki.
Goya.
Walaa.
Walaa.
Yazakor.
Yazakor.
Sham Yashar.
Sham Yashar.
Aiwa.
Aiwa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yawai Tazawa.
Yawai Tazawa. La.
Yakhadu.
Yakhadu.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Moya.
Moya.
Yakarafa.
Yakarafa.
Ahawya.
Ahawya.
Arawam.
Arawam.
Yashma'al.
Yashma'al.
Mawaba.
Mawaba.
Hagari.
Hagari.
Jabal.
Jabal.
Waimawan.
Waimawan.
Wamalak.
Wamalak.
Alashah.
Alashah.
I'm Yashah.
I'm Yashah.
Tazawu.
Tazawu.
Gamashawu.
Gamashawu.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Aiman.
Aiman.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawa.
Zarawa.
Labanyalawat.
Labanyalawat. Salah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Nahum.
Nahum.
Ramadi.
Ramadi.
Kasayasa.
Kasayasara.
Kayabi.
Kayabi.
Manakal.
Manakal.
Koyashwan.
Koyashwan.
Yashamaru.
Yashamaru.
Ayandara.
Ayandara.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
Dama.
Dama.
Shiyatama.
Shiyatama.
Nandiyabu.
Nandiyabu.
Kaira.
Kaira.
Ukazaba.
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 Ukazaba. Salaki. Ukazaba.
Move on me. Okay. Wakazaba.
Ukazaba.
Wakazabana.
Wakazabana.
Call to say a come.
Call to say a come.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Mawad.
Mawad.
Mayarashah.
Mayarashah.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Ah. Nawa.
Nawa.
Alahaya.
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 Shayatamba.
Shayatamba.
Kakaga.
Kakaga.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanya Rakah.
Lapanya Rakah.
Kaash.
Kaash.
Tabari Yara.
Tabari Yara.
Wakalahaba.
Wakalahaba.
Dalahat.
Dalahat.
Aryam.
Aryam.
Gan.
Gan.
Daradap.
Daradap.
Basara.
Basara.
Wabasaba Papa.
Wabasaba Papa.
Tabahalam.
Tabahalam.
Balah.
Balah.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Owan.
Owan.
Oyabakwash.
Oyabakwash.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yabash.
Yabash.
Oyabahawa.
Oyabahawa.
Aryad.
Aryad.
Oyakapara. Oyabadu. Oyada'ayu. Kaya. Atha. Shemka. Yahweh. Labad. Al. Yawan. Al. Ratazah.
Aman. Psalms 83 in English. Keep not thou silent, O
Keep not
Yahweh.
thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O
And be
Yahweh.
not still, O
For
Yahweh. For
lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a
thine
tumble.
enemies make a tumble.
And they that hate
And
thee
they that hate
have
thee
lifted up the
have
head.
lifted up the
They
head.
have taken crafty
They have
counsel
taken
against thy
crafty
people.
counsel against thy
And
people.
consulted against thy
And consulted
enemies.
against thy
They have
enemies. They have
said,
said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from
let
being
us
a
cut them
nation.
off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel
That the name of
may
Israel
be no more in
may be no
remembrance.
more in
For
remembrance.
they have consulted
Because
together with one
together with
consent.
one
They
consent.
are confederate
They are
against thee.
confederate
The
against thee.
tabernacles of
The
Edom
tabernacles of
and the
Egypt,
Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarites,
the
the Baal, and Ammon,
and
Amalek, the
Amalek,
Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asa also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kazan, which spirits at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zed. Yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Amunah, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded, and trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, and then they know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it.
This is the blessings of this is the prayer of the blessings of the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahai.
Wa Alahai.
Matazabia.
Matazabia.
Alawapyahan.
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 Hasaranya.
Hasaranya.
Hakatazayanya.
Hakatazayanya.
Hakayayawli.
Hakayayawli.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashim Yahweh Shah.
Bashim Yahweh Shah.
Wada
Aman in English. Bless you Yahweh.
Bless you Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Michael.
And
the angels. Commanding General Yahweh. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Sar, which means to turn. Alright, men of Israel, go to Babylon to prepare to salute the Torah. So you're going to watch how I salute the Torah, and I want you to do the exact same thing when you come out there, alright? Sar, go ahead, turn. You turn to me. It's always rank order first. Alright? Yahweh Shemi Awashab Rakyah. Sar. Now you're going to step to the edge right there like shot, and then you're going to come up and you're going to salute the Torah. All right, go ahead, step to the edge of the table like shot. There you go. Now you're going to come closer, K-Dean. Now you're going to get the Madu Shabbat. Everything to the right. So pop the right foot out. Then back to Imajah, which right there you go. Barak. Now you're going to put your right fist over the scroll, and you're going to say Yahweh. Ba'ashem. There you go. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahweh Shah. Barak Yah. There you go. That's the Lord in Christ bless me. All right. That's what you just said. Now you go back. All right. Go back to light shot. Now light shot. You can scroll down. There you go. All right. Sisters Yeshabi, which means to be seated. All right, men of Israel, brother, you still standing. Just sisters, be seated. If there's any sisters in class or watching online, be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat. So remember, everything to your right. There you go. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Barakatham, Yajim Matah, Sar, face the sisters. Sisters, Imajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat. No. You still going to face that way to where sisters will sit. All right. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Alatham, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Yajim Matah, dismissed.